Hey ladies and gentlemen of the internet, Adrian here. So I recently re-downloaded the Rocket Money app, formerly known as Truebill, to kind of get a look and breakdown of my recurring subscriptions. And no, before we get into it, this video is not sponsored by Rocket Money, though after seeing this data, I wish it was. But with that, I figured my pain is your content, and we would take a look at my monthly expenses and expenditure as it is. To preface a couple things and give some insight into my spending habits here. First and foremost, a lot of these are subjective to one, the area in which I live in, and two, a lot of these are also just luxuries. In all honesty, these are not necessities or requirements by any means. And three, a lot of these also factor into some of my business and the space I'm in terms of like they go towards that, whether it's write-offs, investments, or just things that ultimately I think will make me money in the long run or pay back dividends in some form or shape. These do not include like strictly business expenses like payroll or anything like that for the businesses that I'm a part of. These are roughly just the expenses that I personally pay out of pocket but go towards the business in some aspect, if that makes any sense. Okay, starting with the first and probably the most common category for majority of you out there when it comes to recurring expenses, because that's what we're factoring in here, and that is cost of living. Whether you rent, own, things of that nature. I personally, for context, live in San Francisco, California, one of the highest living cost of living areas, unfortunately, and I am in San Francisco proper. So for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, nearly 1,400 square foot apartment, we are paying about $5,200 a month in rent. And I say we because I do live with my partner, who also handles a portion of rent in proportion to the space. So for example, I have the home office and studio, so I pay more of said rent, which is only fair. And then there's the inherent utility bills that you pay with rent, right? So I have internet for our web pass subscription of like a gig a month. Our gig speed, that's about $60 a month. PG&E, that always fluctuates depending on the month and electricity used, but I'll just say $100 a month on average. All in all, taking monthly rent and expenses to around $5,400. And then with that, I also included payments in terms of just general cost of living payments that I make as an adult. You know what I mean by that is things that I know and I budget for at the end of every month. I know that I need to pay or set bills. For example, personal things like my finances, like taxes and things I handle on a monthly basis for the IRS, expected card payments, personal family stuff that maybe are handled on occasion, things that I just know I'm going to be taking care of on a monthly basis. It comes out to roughly $1,300 a month. So totaling all that to about $6,500 a month in terms of pure expenditure on cost of living. Factoring out my partner's rent on, like, roughly estimating that out, it's probably closer for me personally out of pocket to like $4,300 a month for cost of living expenses. So we'll call it $4,300. Now, let's move into the non-adult / bill related stuff and talk more about the personal / online subscriptions here that I pay for out of pocket. And again, these are purely for entertainment purposes. Starting with streaming services. I subscribe to YouTube Premium for $16 a month, Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN for $13 a month. Skillshare for $20 a month. This is a fun one because I've been subscribed since the pandemic to better myself, and I've only taken one class on that, so maybe that's one I need to audit. Amazon Prime, $15 a month. One I would arguably say is an essential for me, at least here in the city, and definitely something I rely on heavily. To piggyback off of Amazon, Audible. I've been an Audible member for the last 6-7 years. I pay $15 a month for that, for a credit a month, and have been happily doing so for the last 6+ years. Spotify Premium, $16 a month. That's on the higher end because I pay for a family plan for my family, of course. And yeah, that's the premium plan for family members. Curiosity Stream and Nebula. This is another subscription service I've been on for the last couple months. I signed up for the annual plan, but it comes out to like $3 a month. This is one that is supported and created by YouTubers, so definitely happy to support that. And then Apple TV Plus, which I recently started paying for because my like free thing ran up after, you get like 3 months of it at the time you buy a new like iOS hardware or Apple hardware. So that comes out to like $5 a month for their streaming platform. It's funny, there's a lot of streaming services nowadays. I remember when like streaming services was all about cutting cable, and now we have so many streaming services out there that it's basically like cable. But that takes my streaming service expenditure to about like $103 a month on average. I have access to some other platforms like Netflix and whatnot, but those are through other people's like family plans and whatnot, so I'm not paying for those ones necessarily out of pocket. All right, lifestyle expenses. This is what I would consider like fitness, health sort of related things, or just expenditure that is, again, reoccurring, that I know that I'm spending for my own lifestyle. And this is one category that's definitely in recent months jumped up significantly. So first and foremost, I've recently become a member of Equinox. This is a gym that is 110% on the bouger scale and side of things. I've been taking my health and fitness a little bit more seriously in the last year, but by no means is this a necessity. Like, you can go to a $5 a month gym or $10 a month gym. You can go to your apartment gym. That's probably free. And I do that a lot, but I've more so recently pushed myself and dedicated myself to commit to a gym that's a little bit more premium. It's going to force me to go, I think, a little bit more. I also go because my colleagues and friends go, so that helps in terms of motivation. But yeah, that's $275 a month for the plan that I'm on. I previously was on Equinox through Gym Pass, which I also pay for at the moment on the Diamond plan. Gym Pass is a subscription service for like businesses and companies that allow your employees to get access to multiple gyms, like different gyms and different gym classes, like Berries, Orange Theory, Soul Cycle. Those are kind of like HIIT/specific workouts, all for one subscription service. So I pay $250 a month for Gym Pass at the moment, on top of my Equinox subscription. Again, formerly Equinox was a part of Gym Pass. It was only in October that they forked off, so now I'm paying two separate subscriptions, trying to decide whether or not I'm going to end up keeping my Gym Pass. Last but not least, in the lifestyle category, I would argue groceries probably fall into that. My partner and I split the monthly grocery bill, so that comes out to roughly like $300 a month, depending on the amount that we eat out or traveling, so on and so forth. So bringing the rough lifestyle cost to around $625 for the month. Now, let's get into some miscellaneous categories here. Or miscellaneous reoccurring charges. Instacart. I guess this technically would have gone in the lifestyle category, but we get a lot of our groceries delivered through Instacart. We're on the annual plan for like $100 for the year. We split that at $50 each, so that's like roughly $8 a month. My phone bill on average is about $100+ a month, depending on the month and data use and so on and so forth. So I'm just gonna call it $100 a month. iCloud, which is my Apple backup solution. I use the 2 terabyte plan, and I happily pay $10 a month for that because my data is definitely worth more than that in the long run. Architect's Digest subscription. This is one of those hidden ones. This is one I subscribed to like a year ago because I got like a really good deal for a year's worth. And after that, they banked on me not canceling it, and I didn't. So I'm probably paying it looks like $3 a month for that each month right now, which is not terrible, but probably something I don't need to keep. Uber One. This is one I only subscribed to maybe a month and a half ago. This is Uber's like premium subscription service to get discounts on rides and Uber Eats. I'm probably not going to keep this one. Still kind of testing out whether or not it's worth it to me. I don't personally have a car, so I rely heavily on Uber for my means of transportation, so I've been testing that out. So those categories alone are just random miscellaneous charges, come out to like $130 a month, give or take. A couple other subcategories within that. Gaming. So my gaming subscription services for all the online services I do. And as you can see, gaming definitely a big hobby of mine. Apple Arcade, $4 a month. Xbox Live Ultimate, that pass comes out to like roughly $15 a month because I paid the annual. I just bought it all at once, but that would roughly come out to $15 a month. PlayStation Online Premium, I also bought that in bulk at annual, the highest tier, but that roughly comes out to like $10 a month or $120 for the year, roughly. Nintendo Online, I believe it's $50 a year, but I'm paying like $4 a month for it. So again, if you break that all down, gaming-wise, $33 a month, which actually is not too crazy given the amount of value in games I get out of all these services across the platforms that I play on. The last subcategory here is just like work-related applications or services that I use. So for example, SetApp is an application that I pay for on my Mac that gets me access to a ton of different apps all under one umbrella. I pay $15 a month for their power user plan there. Adobe Creative Cloud, I pay $55 a month for a Creative Cloud license for access to Photoshop, Adobe Premiere, Acrobat, so on and so forth. So I know a lot of people are like really hated that switch to that type of model, but it's definitely something that's integral to my workflow, despite it being a little bit more expensive. Fantastical, that is my calendar app of choice, and I pay for the premium $5 a month for that. And lastly, Spark, which is my email client of choice. There's a free version of it on the Mac. I use it for my phone and my Mac. However, I've been recently testing out their new premium version, and that comes out like $3 a month, and I'm debating whether or not I want to keep or need those features, and we'll go from there. So work app related, or apps that I use for work, comes out to about $78 a month. So grand total here, taking all those numbers. Let me just do some number crunching because I didn't do this prior. 78, 33, 625, 88. All in all, comes to a grand total of roughly $7,455 a month. Now I will subtract roughly like the rent that I'm not paying, the portion of my cost of living. So it comes out to about $5,000. Let's call it $300 a month that I'm spending on average for cost of living, random streaming services, miscellaneous charges. Yeah, it's a lot by all means. But with that in mind, and now that the numbers are out there, some tips I want to throw out your way. I think it's important to do what I just did in this video and just in general, whether you use an app like Rocket Money, you use a spreadsheet like I was doing previously, whatever it is, tracking and auditing your finances at some level frequently is important. It doesn't have to be daily, it doesn't even have to be weekly. Just having a picture of your finances and where your money is going allows you to help adjust, cancel, and budget appropriately as needed. Obviously, it goes without saying, but spend within your means. At the end of the day, like my expenditure per month is relation to and should be proportionate to your income and what you're bringing in. It should never be the opposite where you're spending more than you're bringing in and it's costing you. But obviously that should, just go without saying. Invest in yourself and understanding that it's okay with that and being okay with that, right? Whether it's learning, entertainment, fitness, lifestyle, I think it's okay. And again, going back to the rule beforehand and the tip beforehand, as long as it's within your means and your budget, it should be okay to allocate stuff for that. Just because it's not cost of living, it's not the bare essentials. Maybe you find joy in going to a nicer gym, or maybe you find joy in going out and eating out more and trying new places. Maybe it's traveling, whatever those budgets that you want to set for yourself that might be recurring costs in your lifestyle, as long as it fits in that overall plan. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself, because I think some of those things, I know from my subscription services that I went through here, some of these apps, some of these services that I pay for on a monthly basis bring me money in the long run, right, and pay back in dividends. Lastly, I would say take advantage of discounts, bulk deals, if you can buy subscriptions, or for example, for like a lot of the gaming services I use, sometimes I'll buy gaming cards when they're on sale or like off during holidays and whatnot, because it allows me to save a bit in the long run. Buying ahead in that sense, to take advantage of those deals, signing up to things like family plans if you and your family members all use a specific service or what have you, taking advantage of those deals to save X amount, or paying, for example, the annual subscription like I talk a lot about in this video, often will save you X amount of money per month on a service that you may already know that you're going to be using for the long haul. If it's a service that you want to keep month to month because you're only using it now and again and you don't know if you want to keep it, then obviously the monthly makes sense. But for me, for example, things like Amazon Prime, Spotify Premium, so on and so forth, there are things I know I'm not going to cancel for any reason anytime soon, so it makes sense for me to just get the annual deals if they have it and save some money. All right, so that's a look at my personal kind of finance breakdown on a monthly basis. Hope it gives you some insight into roughly what I'm spending a month and how it may relate to you, and maybe push you to do the same for yourself to kind of get an overview of how you're spending and where you can make some adjustments. Hopefully my pain is your gain. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one.